The news got us buying all these groceries, y'all.
Y'all look at Walmart. Everything is gone. The whole store is empty. Look, this the freezer, the frozen section. It's shelves empty. Like everything is gone. I told y'all this strike was about to get real. To stock up on things, cause look, dairy, everything gone. I don't eat this stuff, but anyway, juice. Everything is empty. The whole store is completely empty. Y'all, this about to get crazy.
Here's how the port strikes are going to affect your next grocery trip. The ports from Miami to Maine are on strike. That is the East Coast ports. The West Coast is not on strike. They already made a deal. And we are still looking pretty good with the ports that go across the northern or southern border. I used to work for a produce buyer in Baltimore. I know a lot about this. The first thing you're going to notice is that bananas won't be available. That's because almost all bananas come through the Port of Delaware, which is on strike right now, and they are quick ripening. They don't go to a ripening house or cold storage or a warehouse. What comes in pretty much gets emergency shipped to your supermarket that day. But there will be plenty of other produce for you to choose from. It's apple season. Grab some apples. Before I say this next part, I want to remind you that we have warehouses full of this stuff. You will not see a disruption to this supply chain for 4 to 6 weeks. Sugar, salt, and cacao all come through the Port of Baltimore, and Baltimore is the main importer. But remember, you don't need to hoard this stuff because we have plenty of it. 40% of the food that goes on a grocery store shelf goes to waste. We just need to not be wasting so much, and we'll have plenty to go around. The last thing you want to just keep top of mind is that because it's the East Coast ports that are closed, things that come through the Red Sea or from Europe are likely to be the ones that are affected first. Imports on beer, wine, French cheeses, Irish butter, stuff like that. Again, we have warehouses and cold storages full of this stuff, but you may in 4 to 6 weeks, if the strike continues, see a disruption to that supply. Let me know what you're specifically worried about. I'll find an answer for you.
I'm going to hold your hand while I say this. You do not need to go stock up on toilet paper. If you're nervous about the strikes at the port, let's break it down for 30 seconds. Toilet paper is manufactured here in the United States and in Canada and Mexico. You're going to be fine on toilet paper. The strikes are only still currently happening at the ports on the East Coast. The West Coast already settled. So the immediate thing that you are going to see impacted is bananas. They come in through the Port of Delaware, and that is shut down right now. And those don't go to any sort of dry storage, cold storage. Those go straight to your grocery store. So the only immediate impact that you're going to see is bananas. If you're a banana guy, go stock up on your bananas. Go crazy. Freeze them. Next thing that you're going to see an impact on won't be for 4 to 6 weeks because everything else goes to cold storage and there's warehouses fully stocked of these things, okay? Sugar, salt, cacao. But again, that's not going to be for another 4 to 6 weeks. Those come through the Port of Baltimore, and that is one of the ports that is shut down. But again, they have warehouses full of this stuff, so just don't be wasteful. Then the other thing that you need to keep in mind is that it's stuff that's coming from Europe and through the Red Sea. So anything that you get from Europe, your French cheeses, beer, wine, Irish butter, again, you're probably only going to see an impact in about 4 to 6 weeks, and it's probably going to be settled by then. So no, you don't need to go stock up on toilet paper.
Are you worried that the port strike might affect your Shein package? Are you even more worried that you ain't gonna have your Don Julio or Actifulio? Well, here's what we know so far. So these ports are critical for the retail industry. Data shows that in 2023, the East and Gulf Coast ports accounted for about 53% of all U.S. apparel, footwear, and accessory imports, which amounted to about $92 billion in value. How does Shein fit in? Well, Shein is ocean shipping more goods into the United States for storage in onshore warehouses. According to the import data from Import Genius, Shein's ocean shipments of apparel has increased more than 2,000% in the last 2 years, soaring from about 300,000-ish pounds to more than 6.8 million pounds. Shein still sends the majority of its merchandise by air, which enters the United States under a trade provision that exempts them from tariffs. So given that Shein ships about 5,000 tons a day, their use of container shipping is relatively low, so your Shein package will likely still be on the way and delivered as scheduled. Now on to Don Julio. Okay, a lot of y'all are sliding down the wall, screaming and crying at the thought of shortages of Don Julio. Well, worry not. You still may be able to act Julio because beer and liquor brands may be affected include Modelo, Heineken, Pinot Grigio, Irish Cream, Scotch, gin, imported whiskey and rum, and specifically brand names like Bacardi. The effects on tequila brands like Don Julio are unclear. What is clear is that Don Julio is imported from Mexico. Affected ports like Louisiana and Texas do do move large volumes of Mexican imports, but those large volumes of imports are mostly chemicals and auto parts. This is according to Bottle Raiders. So top companies that would be affected based on the use of shipping through the East and Gulf Coast ports include Walmart, IKEA, Samsung, Bob's Discount Furniture, LG, Home Depot, Continental Tire, Hyundai, Dollar General, Amazon, and Folgers Coffee. Now, the easiest way to ensure that there are no shortages is for the bosses to negotiate a fair contract with workers. As a citizen, if you don't want to see shortages, here are some things that you can do to help. Number one, join your local picket line. I'll be joining one sometime soon because I cannot live without my coffee. Number two, voice your support for the workers' demands. Number three, talk to your friends and family about what is going on. If you are in Jacksonville, Florida, or the surrounding areas, you should come to a picket line. Here are the details of said picket line. Solidarity with the ILA.
Bro, I don't know what's going on with the fear mongering on social media, but y'all had me bugging. I ran straight to my Walmart. I needed to get me some TP, you know what I'm saying? I walk in and like, it's the exact opposite of what I'm seeing online. I don't know. I live in like one of the most populated cities in the nation. I live in Houston, so we're supposed to be affected by this strike, but I mean, I guess it ain't hit yet here. I don't know. We got the TP in Texas, y'all. Anyway, I'm not trying to make light of the situation. I know it's bad for some people out there, but just hold tight, man. They'll get this thing straightened out. At least I hope so. Or else we're doomed.
I spent $136 to try to start an emergency food storage for my family and I. I really chose cheap, non-name brand food items. I got a lot of marinara sauce because these are easy to cook with and they are cheap. After the marinara sauce, I put some canned goods on top, so corn, green beans, tomato sauce. This is just a side view of what everything will look like. Honestly, for $136, I feel as if I did pretty good. I got 3-4 packs of tuna, a couple things Alfredo sauce, some chickpeas, black beans, carrots. I obviously chose things that would be easy to prepare and would keep for a very long time. Okay, moving on, I got lots of pastas because they were so cheap and they can literally go with anything. And then I got lots of instant mashed potatoes because again, they're easy to make, they're cheap, and they can last for a while. We actually don't eat a lot of beans, but they're so cheap and it seemed like the smart thing to get. I also got 3 bags of white rice, some pepper, and some bouillon cubes to make everything taste good. I got a big thing of coffee creamer because I definitely will be having coffee no matter what. Okay, this is an intermission to see my cats play. They're so cute. Okay, back to the big storage container. I got some tuna, some salt, 2 things of big peanut butter, and some instant coffees. Okay, so this was my start of this journey, and I'll be adding more. If you have any comments or anything that you think I should add, let me know. All right, bye.
So people are panic buying. I made a video yesterday saying that if this strike happened today, then more than likely people will panic buy because it's human nature. I was hoping that people would not panic buy and buy ahead of time, but instead today everyone is in the store and the lines are out the door. Yahoo Finance have made a post saying that panic buying is spreading as well. You can look at this picture here and you'll see the line. I also recommend that you search panic buying today here on TikTok and you're going to see today all of the stores were filled, lines out the door, everybody overbuying, stocking up because the port strike will have an impact on everyone. As you see, this is the baby formula aisle and baby water, and there's nothing left. So if you did not stock up before the port strike, I highly recommend at least get in where you fit in, but try to save something for others. Don't be selfish, just take what you need and leave some for someone. If COVID didn't teach us anything, it taught us that people panic. I'll never forget when COVID was announced, people went and stocked up on tissue and paper towels, like bum rushed the stores. And then when George Floyd was killed, people went out and looted and destroyed the stores. And I'll never forget, there was a woman on live in the middle of the grocery store that had been heavily looted. She was crying because she could not find formula for her baby. Mothers,
If this port strike is announced tomorrow, who knows how chaotic things may get because people panic, and I think that's natural for a lot of people. Go ahead and stock up on your baby needs, like your diapers, your milk and formula and things like that. Stock up on that now just in case something happens, right? Regular folk like me, stock up on your dried goods like rice and beans and things like that. Even if you don't vacuum seal it and all that, still go ahead and stock up on your rice and beans and your canned goods. Get you in a hand can opener. Don't get a manual one that you just, don't get one of the ones that you plug in. Get a manual one that you just crank to open your canned goods or whatever. Stock up on water, okay? Grab a few cases of water or a 5-gallon drum, fill it up with water, whatever the case may be. Go to my Amazon storefront. You'll see a list that says prepper must-haves. Go through that. See if you have a first aid kit. Go through that list and see if there's anything on there that you can use. It is for preppers. It is for us to be prepared in the event of an emergency and not to wait until there is an actual emergency, but to be prepared beforehand. Who knows what's going to happen with the port strike? Who knows what's going on with the port workers? But tomorrow there could be a major announcement, and it's better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it.
Those greedy companies are making billions of dollars and they don't want to share. That's why we're out here now fighting for a contract. We're going to fight for it and we're going to win it. Or this port will never open up again. From here to Houston. I'm not playing games here.